Hello, dear people. Two distant nations with similar artifacts, Bulgaria, Europe, the Madara Horseman, and Iran, Asia, the horsemen of Naqsh-e Rostam. They look as if they are cousins. On the territory of Bulgaria, there are numerous monuments and sites of national and global importance that continue to arouse the curiosity of everyone who visits them. Not all of them have a fully clarified origin and meaning, but one thing is certain: they will continue to spark the interest of scholars and adventurers in the future as well. The Madara Horseman is one of the many mysterious cultural treasures on our territory. It is located near the village of Madara, Shumen province, and is part of Bulgaria's 100 national tourist sites. It is believed to be the only stone bas relief of its kind in all of Europe, and precisely because of this uniqueness, it is part of UNESCO's cultural heritage. Besides being a world treasure, it is also one of the most recognizable symbols of Bulgaria. It is so important and valuable that in 2008, it won first place in the competition for which Bulgarian symbol should appear on the euro coin if it is ever introduced in our country. The Madara Horseman was among 33 symbols in 3 different categories and won with 25.44% of the votes, followed by the Cyrillic alphabet, Saravet's Hill, the Bulgarian rose and rose oil, and the Rila Monastery. The Madara Horseman is truly unique, one of a kind, and we can be proud that our ancestors created something so grand and unparalleled. The entire composition of the bas relief consists of 4 figures. A horseman on horseback piercing a lion with his spear, and a dog closely following the horse. This entire scene is carved at the impressive height of 75 meters on a 100-meter vertical cliff. Around the bas relief itself, there are 3 inscriptions carved into the rock. The dimensions of the image are 2.6 meters in height and 3.1 meters in width. The Madara Horseman is located very close to an ancient Proto-Bulgarian pagan sanctuary. The clothing of the horseman itself and the craftsmanship of the 4 figures indicate that the creation of the bas relief should be connected with the culture of the Proto-Bulgarians, rather than that of the Thracians, Byzantines, or others. Scientific research on the Madara Horseman through the years. The first mention of the bas relief near the village of Madara was made by the famous Armenian traveler Hugus Ingian, who traveled through the Bulgarian lands between 1792 and 1809. The most widely accepted thesis, however, is that the bas relief was discovered by Felix Canitz in 1872, when he mistakenly assumed that the inscriptions around the horseman composition were in Latin. Later, in 1884, Constantin Jarad EK established through a telescope that the inscriptions were in Greek, and this claim became the basis of the theory that the Madara Horseman was the work of the Thracian civilization. A few years later, in 1895, the famous researcher Karol Korpel carefully studied the bas relief from scaffolding and concluded that the horseman was Khan Krum and that the bas relief dated from the period of the First Bulgarian Empire. Afterward, many other prominent scholars and archaeologists carried out various studies of the Madara Horseman, and, naturally, each reached a different conclusion. It was not until 1954 that the Bulgarian Academy of Sciences organized a very large-scale expedition to the rock bas-relief, involving a broad range of specialists, archaeologists, historians, architects, and epigraphists. There is even a hypothesis according to which the horseman is actually the Persian ruler Darius, or even the ancient Greek god Mithras. The most widespread hypothesis, supported by the greatest amount of evidence, remains that the relief depicts the triumphal scene of a Bulgarian can over Byzantium. Another well-known and plausible hypothesis is that the image on the bas-relief represents the supreme god Tangra. There are many other hypotheses, some of them quite far from the truth. But will we ever fully uncover the secret of the Madara Horseman? Precisely carved into the rock stand 3 inscriptions, whose integrity has been damaged by time to varying degrees. It is assumed that all were made at different times and are of old Bulgarian origin. The first inscription is located directly before the horseman and is believed to date from the reign of Khan Tervel, 701-717 AD. It has been interpreted as reflecting the assistance Khan Tervel gave to Justinian II in regaining his throne. The second inscription is situated to the left of the horseman and is most likely connected with Kormesios around 756 AD, reflecting the relations between Bulgaria and Byzantium at that time. The third inscription, visible to the right of the horseman, is believed to date from the reign of the great Khan Omurtag, 831 AD. Unfortunately, the least is known about it, because the translation is the shortest due to the poor visibility of the remaining letters on the bas-relief itself. Naqsh-e Rostam Els in Persian, Naqsh-e Rostam, is an ancient necropolis in Fars province, Iran. The name means Throne of Rostam. It is one of the significant archaeological monuments of ancient Persia and is located 12 kilometers northwest of the old Persian capital of Persepolis. This necropolis belongs to the Achaemenid dynasty, 550-330 BC of the First Persian Empire. 4 tombs were carved into the rocks. The first is explicitly identified by inscription and belonged to King Darius I 522-486 BC. The other 3 are believed to have been the tombs of Kings Xerxes I 486-465 BC, Artaxerxes I 465-424 BC, and Darius II 423-404 BC. Additional rock reliefs and bas-reliefs from both the Achaemenid and the Sasanian, or Second Persian Empire, 204-651 AD, are also carved into the rocks. The oldest relief dates from 1000 BC and is damaged. It depicts a man, probably from the ancient state of Elam. 7 of the reliefs portray scenes dedicated to Shahanshahs from the Sasanian period of Persia: Artaxerxes, Artaxerxes I 226-242, Shapar Isa 242-272, Baramduais 276-293, with 1 large and 2 small reliefs, Narcissus 293-303, and Hormizd Ay 3-3-3-9. The tombs themselves consist of a cross carved into the rock, in the center of which is the entrance leading to the burial chamber. Inside them, the rulers of Persia were laid in sarcophagi. There is also a 5th tomb that was never completed. It was probably intended for King Darius 333-330 BC, after the conquest of the Persian Achaemenid Empire by Alexander II the Great. Alexander of Macedon. The tombs were plundered and abandoned. Directly opposite the tomb stands a tower popularly known as Kaaba, Ye Zartosh, the Tower of Zoroaster. It has a square cross-section and is 12 meters high. There are cuneiform inscriptions upon it. Its purpose has not been clarified, but it is assumed to be a Zoroastrian tower. To my surprise, it turned out that this magnificent archaeological site is not under UNESCO protection.